Hey, YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is the real Nathan Daley. And as you know, we are back again with another reaction slash review. This particular story, you guys, I absolutely had to cover it. If you have not heard about this, this is coming all the way from Tennessee, from a police department, right? A department where there have been sex scandals like none other I've ever seen before. You guys, listen, I've seen my share of sex scandals. I promise you I have. And we're going to talk about them. But this right here, this is crazy. And who better to talk about a police sex scandal than myself, yours truly, Nathan Daley, you guys. Listen, I'm going to give you some insight as to how these things unfold in a police department. Listen, it gets crazy and it can get wild. And we are talking about a police department where one female officer has slept with over 5 men, 5 other male officers and their wives. Listen, we're talking swinging and thingings, right? Swinging things. So it gets crazy, and allegedly or apparently, somebody snitched, right? Somebody told the police chief, and then they started doing an investigation, and the next you know, heads started to roll, people start losing their jobs, and I believe over 5 officers lost their job and like 2 suspended. But listen, let's dive into the news clip. But before we get into that, this is what the officers look like. I'm gonna show you who they are on the screen. So the young lady over to the left, that is the female officer. The 4 over to the right are the male officers who got fired behind this sex scandal. Why? You guys, they were sleeping on the job. They weren't sleeping on the job. They were having sex on the job. They're having sex at these groupie parties with other officers. And listen, she is married, right? She's married. So of course the husband finds out about this stuff, like in the news. How embarrassing, right? And I believe one of the other officers here on the screen are also married. But listen, she's very diverse, right? She got 2 brothers, and I think one guy at the bottom left, he's something else. But I mean, she diversified her portfolio. But nonetheless, you guys, this is, when you hear this story, it's gonna blow your mind. So listen, without further ado, let's dive into the actual story, the news clip that came out in regarding this situation. Hilarious.
A shocking 20-page report has been completed into sexual relationships at the Laverne Police Department. Some happening while officers were on duty and at work.
Doing something while you're at work, I mean, for everybody else who goes to work, you know, we're held to that same standard.
Jerry Howell says he was in disbelief when first reading the report and wants changes from city leaders. The investigation says Mayor Jason Cole got the first tip about the relationships.
It's just bad. It's like a stain, I guess.
We requested an interview with Mayor Cole.
So the mayor, okay, so that's who got the tip. The mayor, could you imagine? The mayor of the city found out that officers are having sexcapades with each other, right? Throughout the department, you have one female officer who's sleeping with multiple officers. And I don't know what the exact tip was that was given to the mayor, but as you can imagine how embarrassing that is to have to even try to investigate that. So anyways, let's carry on.
But was told he was not willing to talk on camera. Instead, he released a statement saying in part, "We will be retraining all of our employees in the rules, regulations, and expectations set forth by city leadership."
It'll be a wake-up call for Laverne, but also a wake-up call for our police department to take care of themselves.
Keith Bice says he would like to see the community step up and help oversee the police department.
Just a couple of bad apples does not make the whole bunch bad.
Police Chief Chip Davis talked about exactly that in his statement.
Laverne Police Department. All right, so Laverne Police Department in Tennessee. We know where it's at. You guys, you know how embarrassing this is. I feel for those officers. I'm not gonna lie, but nonetheless, they kind of put themselves in this predicament. You know, but let's break down the actual story. Let's break down the story, and let's line by line. Let's talk about what actually took place and how this whole thing unfolded. All right, because now I'm curious. Tennessee cop, including married female officer, fired after repeated wild sex romps. I like how they put romps in there, romping around. So let's dive into it. Let's go into the article. A small Tennessee police station has been rocked by allegations of wild sexual misconduct, right? After a married female officer allegedly had steamy romps, I like how they use the word romps, with sex male officers, including illicit on-duty liaisons, according to reports. All right, so let's get into it. You guys, this alone will get you fired, right? Having sex on the duty, on the clock. I know plenty of officers who've lost their job because they just could not exercise any type of sexual discipline on the job. You know, it is what it is. So let's dive into it. Officer Megan Hall and her fellow law officers allegedly engaged in wild sexcapades that included sending dirty pictures, taking her top off at a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party, and even having oral sex with 2 officers at the police station. Oh my God. Can't make this up. Wow. The steamy shenanigans in which Hall allegedly bragged about the size of one partner's genitals and claimed to be an open marriage, So, okay, so now we're getting to the juicy stuff. So Hall, you guys, Hall is the female to the left. All right, that's Hall. That's Officer Hall. And those are the 4 officers that got fired. So what they're saying is Hall bragged about being in an open marriage, meaning, obviously, as we all know, you know, there's she could be with whoever she wants and her husband's okay with it. This is what she told them, right? So everybody's under the assumption or expectation that, you know, she's free. She's free as a bird. But here we go. Not only led Hall to be canned, but led to the firings of Sergeant Powell, Officer Juan Lugo, Sergeant Ty McGowan, and Detective Seneca Shields, according to the internal investigation. Oh my God. Look at her face. She's such like she's like a little Cabbage Patch doll. To imagine you lose your job over. She's not even attractive. Lord have mercy. These guys are idiots, but it happens all the time. The extracurricular tries took place at hotels and parties, at other officers' houses, and on a boat, while Hall was also accused of performing oral sex on Powell and Shields while on duty at the police station and police gym. Damn. You know, I'm not even going to get into that, but according to the December 28th internal report, could you imagine these guys lost their job simply because they felt that they could not, no sexual discipline? That's so weird to me. It's so weird. This is Sergeant Powell here at the bottom. He's a K9 guy. This is wow. You guys are idiots. You guys are idiots. Officials began to look into the swinging personal lives of the amorous officers when Laverne Mayor Jason Cole received a tip that Hall was sleeping with several fellow cops and had a threesome with Maggiloco and his wife, among other claims. So here we go. This gentleman here is Maggiloco. This is Officer Maggiloco. I don't fucking, Jesus Christ. This is Officer Maggiloco here. Patrick Maggiloco and Megan Hall. So this is them right here. So the mayor was given a tip. Somebody snitched, right? Ultimately, what they're saying is somebody snitched. Somebody who was either in relationship to one of the officers, or someone who wasn't getting any, or it was probably Hall's husband, right? It's probably Hall's husband. I guarantee it was one or the other. That's usually how these things. Somebody snitched. Somebody's upset, and they definitely reported it. So they're having threesomes. This is swinging. Like they're all swinging. But here's the thing. Like if that's the lifestyle you want to do, then there's no shame in it. Why are you swinging with coworkers? I don't know. I think that's risky, right? Absolutely risky. He told investigators that Hall had told him about Powell's big black dick. God, dog. and claimed she had performed a sex act on him while the pair were on the clock. This is what got them fired. You know, this is you're stealing time, right? This happened as well at my department. Matter of fact, 2 departments I worked at where people were having sex on duty and they got fired because essentially you're robbing the county, you're robbing the department of their time, right? Like, you guys, listen, if they done all this stuff on their personal time is one thing. Once they started integrating this stuff into the job, it becomes a job's business. And not only that, because their behavior is it reflects poorly on the department, you know, it's not a good look. They got fired because of that as well. Here we go. How do you pronounce this? Patrick, right? Let's just say his first name. Patrick also said he had seen Hall and Holiday kiss while watching football at a party. So he's telling his story, right? This guy right here is telling his story about what happened. So at this point, he's being interviewed by Internal Investigations. He's like, listen, I watched Hall kiss Holiday, whoever Holiday is, while watching football at a party, and said Hall had kissed his own wife, Amy. So Patrick is saying, listen, my wife even kissed Hall. He watched all this happen. Amy, after learning they had an open marriage, according to the document. So basically, Patrick is saying, listen, my wife liked her too and kissed on her. Everybody was kissing and touching on her because she was bragging about being in an open marriage. The officer said Hall's husband saw the kiss and told officials the cuckold really wasn't on board with his wife having a threesome with the Magilocos. Magilocos. All right, so what's going on here, right? I feel so bad. Listen, let's pause for a second. Let's pause because this is embarrassing. So let's dive into the husband, right? We gotta talk about the husband because I feel bad for him, right? Here's the thing. They're calling him a cuckold, you guys. And listen, I've heard that term before. I had to look it up again just to kind of get a very clear definition. And a cuckold is a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, right? And so a cuckold is the husband of an adulterous wife, and then also they have the wife of an adulterous husband is called a cuck queen. All right, so listen, these are new words, right? New vocabulary words. But anyways, you guys, this is embarrassing. So he told the investigator, Hall's husband told the investigators that they don't have an open marriage, and he's not okay with her swinging and sleeping with half the damn police department, right? So how embarrassing is that? So listen, this is who her husband is, right? I found this photo. This is her husband here. You know, bless his heart, right? Bless his heart. And listen, this tattoo right here on the thigh, it gives it away. It gives it away every time. She ought to be ashamed of herself. This poor guy, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on damn suicide watch at this point, or even worse, right? He's all through the news now, right? Everything that she's done, you have now embarrassed this man like none other. I think they definitely need to be separated, right? At this point, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. People have lost their life from a lot less. You know what I mean? She slept with half her damn police department and has bragged and told people that she's in an open marriage. And he's telling the investigators like, nah, we're not in an open marriage. Whew. Man, prayers out for that brother there, you guys. That's tough. That's tough. So let's get back to this article. So basically what they're saying is, even after the Magilocos knew that she was not in an open marriage, they still continue to have sexual relationships with her regardless. You guys, can you see how messy this is? This is extremely messy for a lot of different reasons. Listen, there have been situations where officers and spouses of officers and 2 officers, right? Like you had both spouses or both police officers maybe at one department or another. You had one that would come up and threaten violence, threaten to shoot, kick open doors. Behind these type of incidents, you guys, this could have turned out extremely, extremely dangerous. And the fact that nobody got hurt behind this is still mind-blowing to me, to be completely honest. This is Detective Shields. All right, this is Detective Shields. He got a piece of that hall too. He was down them halls too, right? So shout out to Shields. He was down them halls. Said when questioned, Powell, Sergeant Powell, that's the K-9 sergeant, later denied that he had sexual encounter with Hall, which that probably right there got him terminated, along with him getting sucked off inside the police department, right? But said everybody knows she has multiple partners, as he named Holiday and McGowan to investigate it. So now Powell snitched, right? Powell's like, listen, I'm not the only one decking the halls, right? I'm not the only one up in them hallways. All right. I'm not the only brother in there. All right. After being caught lying about being at the gym, Powell was in the hall. He's shooting the gym up. He doing everything. Powell admitted to the Trice during a follow-up interview, according to the report. Powell was then involved in a domestic disturbance with his wife. There you have it. I just said it, right? I just said it. He was involved in a domestic disturbance with his wife, who he told investigator beat the shit out of me. You can't make this up. Powell was then involved in a domestic disturbance with his wife, and he claimed she beat him up, adding that he would most likely lose his children after the spurned woman learned of the affair. Well, Sergeant Powell, obviously you should have thought about that before you were decking the halls with your balls. On the job. You guys, these officers are idiots, man. Idiots. And now he's worried about, I'm gonna lose my children. Wow, what an imbecile. Sergeant Lewis Powell was fired after admitting to having sexual encounters with Hall on the clock. Yeah. Holiday, I don't know who Holiday. Holiday admitted under questioning to having sex with Hall multiple times, and McGowan revealed that he once went to Hall's house with another female and exposed his genitals, according to the graphic report. Jesus Christ. After initially denying having sexual relations with Powell and Magilloco, Hall later copped to the affairs and also admitting having sex with Lugo at a motel after they met at a go-kart center, a charge that Lugo initially denied before caving under a second interrogation. My God. Look at that face. Hi, my name is Hall, and I... This is a professional ball champion, right? Of the police department. I can't even take her seriously. She doesn't even look like the type, right? I mean, wow. You guys, she needs help. You know, to me, that's an outcry for help. You know, definitely outcry for some therapy. Jesus Christ. You know, and I'm pretty sure there are probably others, right? And, you know, they may have done things in a way that was more discreet, but God, dog. Hall out here, she's... Whew. My God. All right. Where are we at? Under questioning, Shields said, I have never had sex with Megan Hall until admitting she had performed oral sex on him while on duty. When pressed, the inquest found. So here's the thing. So basically, Shields was almost scot-free. He's like, listen, I've never done anything with her. And what did she do? She ended up telling everything. She ended up telling on everybody. Hey, yeah, I did that. I did this. Yeah. Shields she's been, my God, she's been giving it out. Look how she holds the chicken. Look at that. Look how she's holding it. The hand's already in like position, right? Already in position. Look how she's like, Oh, you caught me getting ready to put this in my mouth. Right? God, dog. Oh my gosh. Oh, the wedding ring. Lord have mercy. I feel so sorry for her husband. This is so embarrassing. God, dog. Magaloka also noted he had become concerned about Hall's mental health, heavy drinking and driving. The officer said Hall had once pulled the trigger on an empty gun pointed at her temple. What? So she could hear what it sounded like. What? See, listen, this is my first time going over the article in its entirety, guys, and I'm already telling you there's something not right with her, right? And you can just look and you can see, she needs help. Jeez, she put a gun to her head and pulled the trigger so she could hear what it sounded like. Nah, that's sick. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely need some help. Wow. So, an oft mentioned event in the report was a Memorial Day party in a boathouse owned by another member of the department. You guys, this is why I didn't hang out with police officers off duty. I don't go to your house. We go out to eat or something like that. That's it. There's always these boundaries are always maintained. There was always so much drama, man. And people would get too close. Hey, it's boat party, alcohol, blah, blah. Nah, there wasn't a lot of people that I really hung out with, like on a personal level. But you always had to be careful. There was always some weird ass scandal going on in the police department. So this is interesting. So at one point during the party, an intoxicated Hall was reportedly being force-fed vodka by Magaloka in the hot tub. See, this right here already gets crazy, right? This is a recipe for disaster. At which time her top came off and other cops stopped the former officer from drinking and helped her cover up to protect her. Yeah. Wow. Who is this? Another canine officer. Oh, this is Holiday. Holiday was decked the halls of balls of jolly. La 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 la. La 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 la. Could you imagine? I couldn't even imagine. These guys were having a roundabout. This is definitely a swingers group. Lugo, Powell, and Shields were also dismissed for violating police procedure and lying during the investigation, along with McGowan, who had been witnessed choking an HR employee. What? Holiday, Magaloka, and Patrol Officer Gavin Scholborough were suspended in connection with the probe, officials said. Means they did it just enough to embarrass the police department and need to get suspended over it. They were probably maybe sending pictures and everything like that. HR Director Ann Payton, who authored the report, conducted the investigation, sanctioned the 8 officers with various penalties for sexual activity while on duty, sexual harassment, conduct unbecoming of an officer, and lying during the course of an investigation. Conduct unbecoming of an officer. This is a very, very, very big charge. And it's important because it encompasses a lot of things, right? Basically just saying that you are not reflecting the image, the character, the disposition, the morals of what we represent in this department. And as an officer, you're not representing those values and those characteristics, and your conduct is such, though it may not have been illegal, it was unbecoming of what you are supposed to be and in how the community sees you. So, yeah, this is interesting. It was further revealed that Hall and many of the male officers had shared lewd text messages, pornographic images of themselves. Pornographic and offensive pictures in the workplace are forms of sexual harassment. These items are offensive, inappropriate, and can lead to a hostile work environment for employees. Yes, that's absolutely true. What happens is, you guys, honestly and truly, what tends to happen is, these things start off fun, they start off cool, and then somebody gets offended, right? Someone's name is mentioned in something or something, and next it just blows up out of proportion. Somebody doesn't want the pictures anymore. Somebody's, spouse finds out, and then now the whole thing turns upside down. You guys, it happens all the time. I remember plenty of situations in my department where, you had supervisors and subordinates exchanging sexual messages and pictures and stuff like that on the work phone, and then one of the spouses or finds out, or, whatever. Somebody no longer wants to be involved in that, and then they're pressured. And then something that was consensual at one point now has become not consensual, and then now that person feels harassed, right? There's a thing where I would not date coworkers, ever. It was told to me in the beginning in the academy, do not date do not do it. People did it, and it a lot of times, 90% of the times, it did not end well. Always ended in drama. You have those rare cases where you have an officer that would marry another officer at the same department. Those things have happened. And even that has become very drama filled. Why? Because sometimes you'll have a person, male or female officer, who's ran through the department. You might have had a female officer who's been sliding on her knees all the way up to the top. And then somebody decides to marry her. And then people still remember the stories. Like, hey, you married her? Like, you guys, listen. And you got those male officers who've been sliding, diving, and everything, and so it gets tricky, man. We've had all type of scandals at my department. We had folks getting pregnant by a married man officer, and then the baby mama. This person shows up at the job. You guys, listen. This is crazy. So nonetheless, I feel for Hall's husband. What she did was utterly unacceptable. The officers, extremely unprofessional and damn disgusting, actually. But listen, if you're into that, right, cool, do your thing. But damn, I always say, keep the professional life separate from, your personal life. I think that's really the moral of the story, and don't mess with married people. All right, so. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this, you guys? What do you think? Was this crazy? Should they have been first of all, should they have been fired? Right? And what's wrong with getting head at the job, right? What's wrong with that? Right? The stress of this job is so intense. She's really probably doing the department a favor, right? Hey, officer, you stressed out. Listen, in the back, Hall's out there giving out, some emergency treatment. Get you loose before you go on the shift, right? Is that a bad thing? Right. Who did it really hurt at the end of the day? Nobody got hurt behind this. Should they have gotten fired? This is a group, swingers. We had at my department too. We had a group of swingers in the department, and there were some names who were involved in the swing, and like that was their thing. That's what they did. Some people don't care that their name gets thrown around like that. Listen, to each their own. Some people bring their bad sexual habits to their workplace and they can't hide it, right? And so, maybe she should just be in herself, So, I don't know. Maybe they should do a show together, right? At this point, they all lost their job. Maybe they should start an OnlyFans channel. I bet you they make hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? At this point, they got all this celebrity status now, right? What would they call themselves, right? The swinging crew, the swingettes, the swingettes. I don't know. Swinging Siemens. Swinging Siemens. I don't know, you guys. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this crazy, crazy, crazy story? All these officers lost their jobs simply because they lack sexual discipline. It's just that simple. All that stuff on the job, whatever. That's stupid. But anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts. And with that, good night. God bless.